And welcome back to the Master Your Life series. And so far that we have talked about motivation, we've talked about commitment, and these are the fundamental building blocks of change. And before we move on, I want to make sure that you know that you have to make sure that you study these sections. Like I said, you cannot build a building without having a solid foundation. So I'm giving you fundamental building blocks to have the lasting change in your life. First thing we said that first you start with the motivation and you have that spark. And that's you have that fire to get going, but the motivation won't take you all the way to the end. Next is commitment. Commit to what that you said you're going to do. Commit to your goals, commit to your aspirations. But lastly, in these fundamental building blocks that what we will talk about today is discipline. Oh yes, you have to have discipline. And I know for a lot of you, that is one of the hardest things to do when you're trying to have change in your life is have discipline. But let me tell you a little bit about discipline. Discipline is having control over your actions when your thoughts tell you otherwise. And a lot of you, when your thoughts tell you otherwise, you just go with it. When your thoughts and your emotions get involved to tell you not to do something, and then you just kind of go with it. But discipline is the bridge between goals and accomplishment. In order to reach your goals and your accomplishments, you have to have a level of discipline to be able to reach it. So motivation, commitment, and now discipline. But you may ask the question, but how? How am I going to discipline myself? I've tried it over and over again, and it seems that I fail every time. So how am I going to discipline myself? Well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you 10 solutions on how to discipline yourself to have the lasting change in your life. You need to constantly talk to yourself, meaning be your own coach. You have to be your own coach. What does a coach do? A coach encourage. A coach give, empowering words. And, you may seem like, that sounds crazy for me to talk to myself. Yes, talk to yourself. Because the lasting change that you're seeking for, you're worth it. You need to look at yourself every day in the mirror and say, I'm worth it. I'm strong enough. I'm wise enough. I can do that. Be your own coach. That's number one, the thing that it's going to take. One of the solutions. Number two is you need to have constant reminders of the reasons why. And there's that word again, reasons why. Constant reminders of your reasons why of your goal. Remember, you need to know why that you're doing this. If you don't know why, first of all, you're not going to commit, and then it's going to be hard for you to even discipline yourself to what you said that your goal is. So your constant reminders of your reasons why. Number three, keep positive images around you. So what do I mean? Positive images. Whether you have a picture that you cut and put on the wall, whether you have something on your screensaver on your computer, whether you write something down and put it in your wallet, have constant reminders of the goal around you. So what happens is that when you're in a situation and it's hard, you say that piece of cake is right there and you want to grab it and you're not disciplined enough, then you go back to those reminders. You go back to being your own coach. You go back to the images that you're keeping around you for the goal that you're trying to reach. Number four, remove temptations. Like I just talked about that piece of cake. Well, if that is a problem for you, then you need to remove it. Then you need to not be in the place where that is until you are strong enough to withstand that particular temptation. So that's simple enough. Remove the temptation. Now, sometimes that temptation is not a thing. Sometimes that temptation is a person. So you need to, and sometimes you can't remove that person, but you can distance yourself from that individual or individuals, or distance yourself from that environment, or distance yourself from that location. Remove temptation. Number 5, having the right environment. And earlier we talked about your right environment. Sometimes you can't move from your house, or you can't move from your family, but you can change your mindset. You can change your perception. You can go and start doing meditation. You can start doing things so at least the environment that you're searching for, it starts from your mind first. But sometimes you have to change your friends. You have to distance yourself, like I said earlier, from your family. Number 6, I said study successful others in the last lesson, but talk to others who have made the changes you are trying to make. Talk to others. And if you don't know anyone, I'm quite sure that you can find something on the internet, quite sure that you can find something in a book. You can find something somewhere that someone has tried to do what you're doing, and they have been successful. Remember, what you're doing, you're not the first, and you will not be the last. So study successful others. Find that individual to do that for. And number 7, our last one that I'm going to talk about in solution is take small action steps. Take small steps. We believe that, in order to discipline, in order to change ourselves, we have to have these big, humongous steps to have that change in our life. No, that's wrong. You need small steps. Take small steps. It takes, when you go from your bedroom to your living room or to your wherever it is in your house, it takes one step after the other to get there. And it's not a question if you're going to make it. It's only when you're going to get there, depending on the small steps that you are actually taking. I want you to remember something. I want you to remember that time multiplied by your daily action equals your short or long-term success. I'm going to say that again. Time, or your daily action, multiplied by time equals your short or long-term success. So in all of these fundamental building blocks that I've given you, motivation, commitment, and discipline, it's about the small steps or the small actions that you are doing every day.